It is not unusual for political leaders to make numerous promises and pledges to the people in order to win during an election. These promises and pledges entice the general masses that the leader has the interest of the people at heart. However, what is unusual is for that political leader to fulfill his or her promises and pledges when the election is won. This situation is prevalent across political scenes across the globe, but especially in Africa, where the majority of the leaders seem to put their needs above that of the general masses. It is said that democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, thus making it the best form of government, at least according to the West. But what happens when a military leader who is supposed to be autocratic goes beyond even what he promised in order to make his country and the citizens better? Doesn't he deserve to be called a leader of the people? In our opinion, yes, he does. And this leader is none other than the Burkinabe President Ibrahim Traore, who has committed himself to showing what true governance means. When Traore first came to power, his primary focus was to combat the insecurity, which has plagued the country since 2015, as well as uphold the sovereignty of Burkina Faso. However, as time went on, his focus has diversified and expanded to include the development of Burkina Faso. And since then, President Traore has implemented several major developmental projects that promise to change Burkina Faso for good. So what are these projects and how will they affect Burkina Faso? Let's find out. When it comes to developmental projects across Africa, the landlocked Sahel country, Burkina Faso is usually ignored in favor of other big African countries, especially those in East Africa. However, recently, Burkina Faso is emerging as a beacon of light with its series of groundbreaking initiatives that promises to change the nation. From investment in free healthcare services to nuclear energy and revamping its infrastructure, the government of Burkina Faso is hard at work building the development infrastructure of the country. Now let's look at these development projects in detail. Number one is the introduction of free healthcare services in Burkina Faso. So, recently, the government of Burkina Faso, through its health ministry, announced free healthcare services for all the citizens of Burkina Faso. To do this, the government intends to deploy mobile clinics across the country. Specifically, this initiative was unveiled on July 25, 2024, and the purpose is for healthcare services to be easily accessible to every citizen across Burkina Faso. This means healthcare services would be easily available regardless of whether it's a bustling urban area or remote villages, which are usually the most affected when it comes to unavailability of healthcare services. By making healthcare services not just easily accessible, but also free, it means that the government of Burkina Faso is shifting from viewing public health services as a commodity to seeing it as a fundamental human right. The initiative ensures that provision will be made on essential healthcare services, including mammography and screening for precancerous cervical lesions, targeting some of the most critical health issues faced by Burkina women. The Burkinabe Free Healthcare Services Initiative should be applauded because it's more importantly about making healthcare services easily accessible to those in the remote areas of the country who are usually neglected by the government, even when the government was still democratic. Investment in nuclear energy. While the rest of the world seems to have developed progressively in terms of energy generation, the African continent seems to be lacking behind, with many African countries still suffering from power outages, which has contributed to slow growth of industrialization. To tackle this problem in Burkina Faso, the military administration has turned to nuclear energy as the solution. In a bold move towards energy independence, the government of Burkina Faso has made significant investment in building nuclear energy in Burkina Faso. This solution to the energy crisis in the country was generated during the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, where President Traore was present. During the summit, after President Traore gave one of his most famous passionate speeches, he expressed his desire and demand to collaborate with Russia's national energy company Rosatom to build a nuclear power plant in Burkina Faso. According to Captain Traore, the nuclear power plant will not only help to meet the country's energy demands, but also that of other neighboring countries such as Niger. According to the deal signed between the two countries, Burkina Faso will achieve 95% electricity access for urban areas and 50% for rural areas by 2030. Currently, the proposed date of the construction has not been released, but we are hopeful that more news about the nuclear power plant will be released as the year goes by. The construction of a nuclear power plant in Burkina Faso offers a promising opportunity for Burkina Faso to achieve energy independence, reduce its reliance on imported fossil fuels, and provide a stable power supply, which is necessary for industrialization and a growing economy. The third major development project that Traore is working hard at is investment in local infrastructure, particularly in the transport industry. A few months ago, President Traore purchased several powerful electric Yutong buses from China, known for their comfort and cutting-edge technology, with the aim of modernizing the Burkinabe road transport sector. But that's not all. The government of Burkina Faso has announced their plans to build a factory in Bobo Dioulasso, which will manufacture and lay rail tracks, build train carriages, and process steel scrap. This initiative is impressive, not just because it is aimed at improving the transport sector, but also because it is a strategic move that drives economic growth by ensuring that materials are locally produced. This will therefore lead to a reduction in dependency on imports of materials, create jobs, and stimulate local productivity. Honestly, this has to be the most fantastic project of all the projects because it uses one stone to kill multiple birds. Now, by investing in infrastructure, which is critical for trade and commerce, Burkina Faso is positioning itself as a vital hub in the Sahel region, enhancing competitiveness and connectivity across the region. Another major development project that is currently happening in Burkina Faso is a project that combines cultural creativity and economic opportunity. Instead of prioritizing only industrial growth, the Burkinabe government has decided to revolutionize the cultural heritage of Burkina Faso, turning it into an economic opportunity. The government is doing this by actively investing in the revival of craft villages across the country. These craft villages are centers of creativity and economic activities where artisans can not just showcase their skills, but also contribute to the economic growth of the country. The purpose of these craft villages is to support local artisans, preserve traditional crafts, and create economic opportunities, especially in regions that have been overlooked in the past. In addition to these craft villages, the government plans to set up specialized craft centers, including those catering to people with disabilities, thereby ensuring inclusivity in economic development. The craft villages can also act as tourist attractions, further bringing additional revenue to the government and improving the overall growth of the economy. The fifth development project under construction in Burkina Faso is the construction of a gold refinery, as well as a mining waste facility. As you are very much aware, President Traore is a believer of a country taking charge of its resources, which is why he decided to take control of the Burkinabe gold, the major export commodity in the country. In November 2023, Ibrahim Traore laid the foundation for the first ever Burkina Faso National Gold Refinery. This refinery is currently being constructed in partnership with Marina Gold, a local gold Burkinabe company, and will have an annual refining capacity of 150 tons. According to Traore, there's no longer any question of us taking our gold abroad for refining. We'll refine it on site because we know the real content of the raw gold that comes out. So, a few months from now, we should expect to see the refinery producing its first gold. The refinery will house a jewelry store and is expected to create 100 direct jobs and over 5,000 indirect jobs. So not only will the country begin to receive better value from its gold, but it will also create employment opportunities. In addition to the gold refinery, President Traore also launched the construction of a waste mining facility where all residual waste from mining any resources, including gold, will be processed and refined into another use. This means instead of the resources going to waste, it would be processed into something useful, meaning that there will be no waste in the mining industry in Burkina Faso. Now, not only will this ensure that the resources of the country are controlled by the government, it also ensures that the country and its citizens will enjoy the full value of their resources. Finally, The last development project we will talk about is Agriculture and Rural Development Project. Just like Thomas Sankara, one of Ibrahim Traore's goals for Burkina Faso is to achieve food self-sufficiency. And to achieve this, he has launched two major agricultural projects. These projects, known as the Operation Agro-Pastoral Offensive and the Presidential Initiative for Food Self-Sufficiency, were launched in 2023 and aim to revolutionize the Burkina Faso agricultural sector and improve food security. The project includes planting a certain number of areas, providing inputs to producers, and improving seeds produced by Burkinabe researchers. Given the satisfactory results of this program, President Traore launched a challenge for food self-sufficiency in 2024, and resources are currently being mobilized for this purpose to support producers. According to Captain Traore, machines such as tractors have been ordered as part of the initiative. Researchers have been reinforced and strengthened to find the right seeds. The government also opened the cupola factory to manufacture fertilizer on site and make the cost accessible to producers. Aside from this, Traore also launched the country in the transformation of agricultural products through the creation of industries in order to support agriculture. All these projects may have some challenges, but there is no doubt that it reveals how committed President Traore is to ensuring that Burkina Faso is at the forefront of development in Africa. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.